And we're live. Sorry, I was playing with something. Actually, I was trying to turn off the Wi-Fi because it always messes with my connection. What's up, everyone? I am the High Priestess Phoenix. Oh, I got the hiccups. Spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, North American Sybil, child of God, messenger of God. I am the Lilith reincarnated. Here with some more Moon Day energy. Now's the time, I suppose. In order to keep up with me, just breathe. Everybody breathe. In order to keep up with me, you would have to catch what I posted in my community page about my new purchases. I was guided this morning in my earlier video to go to this new spiritual store, which was amazing. They had a used book section in the back, and they had perfectly labeled. What is it? Not now. You were fine 2 minutes ago. So I got some great books, and we're going to kind of do a quick intro into those. I'm excited. You know, when you get something new, you want to kind of open it up and see what's in there. But these are really deep teachings. And I'm like, oh man. Well, let's start with the fact that I had been looking for the Quran, and I got a little bitty one that fits inside of my altar just lovely. What is this? From my understanding, this is what the Islamic people believe in. So, just in case, we have Islam, the path of God, right? And it's a condensed one. There's these other ones. It's called something about the light. The path of light is what they call it. Islam is the fastest growing faith in the Western world. Current estimates put the Muslim population in North America between 6 and 10 million. As in only natural, many people wonder about the secret of Islam's appeal to the present era. The answer is simple. Contemporary humanity is in a state of crisis, torn from its old age religious roots and plunged into a spiritual void in which materialism and greed have become the source of untold evils. I feel like we align with them. Can everybody agree? Are there Christians that want to argue so far about the Islamic beliefs? Are there Islamics that want to? Okay, not yet. Hold on, you'll have your time. Side by side with traditional faiths, which are riven by manifold contradictions and divisions, a spot of new man-made religions and movements which lack the sound base of divine revelation and authentic spiritual tradition have arisen to fill the vacuum. In the midst of spiritual chaos, the human soul, which in earlier times was firmly connected to God, floats out well-defined mornings. It is in the midst of this crisis that Western humanity has begun to discover the primordial faith of mankind, Islam, which came into the world with the first human being, uncomplicated by theological dogmas and riddles, clear, direct, and simple enough to be understood by people of any level, and offering a path of unswerving commitment to God. Islam appears as a lifeline flung out to mankind, offering one last chance for change and reform before all civilized values are swept away. Islam, the path of God, sets forth the beliefs and practice of Muslims in a logical, orderly fashion, building Islam's world view from the mind of the reader I'm getting a download. With special emphasis on the deep, God-centered spirituality of Islam. The theme of this book is a single one, the human being's relation with the Creator and all the multifaceted aspects of life. About the author, Suzanne so-and-so, is a great selling author of What Everyone Should Know About the Islam and Muslims. The works on Islamic subjects has lived and traveled widely in the Muslim world. Islam is the source of traditions, has had their object, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so she's all about this life. So she wrote this book. And my mom had only one real boyfriend in her life that I knew of, and his name was Adil, and he was from Saudi Arabia, and he had very different beliefs. And I used to sit down with him in his very cracked out tea and sit around and drink it and talk about it. He was part of the original tribes that took on Saddam Hussein. He actually had he had family members that he had killed. Like literally, this man had physically killed of his family and of his town. And stories like that. And so the Muslims, obviously, the fight between Muslims and Christians. So it should be interesting. I mean, well, let's ask, what do the Jews believe? The customs and cultures of modern Judaism. Judaism is full of different opinions, and no single definition of Judaism is accepted to all Jews. Interesting, because they say the same thing about paganism over there as far as the Celtic beliefs. There's not one specific, way. What do you believe? What do Jews believe? Explores a variety of ways in which Jews live their lives, religious and secular. Oh, man. I don't want to start by messing up people's names. Ashkenazi and Sephardi, Jews in Israel, and Jews who lived in diaspora. Edward Kessler traces the roots of the religion that goes back some 4,000 years, was a major influence on the creation and development of both Christianity and Islam. He also examines how and why such a small number of people, and in an estimate world population of only 12 to 15 million, has played such a significant role in the world's history. What do Jews believe? Look at the anti-Semitism and delve into the Zionist movement and Israel's struggles with Palestinian and Arab neighbors. Starting objectively, the varnished, and sometimes painful history of these difficult issues. The glossary of terms, a calendar of Jewish festivals, and a list of websites and helpful timelines of Jewish history make this a valuable resource for anyone seeking a basic understanding of the Jewish faith. Edward Kessler, the founder of the Center for the Study of Jewish-Christian Relations, and writes widely on Judaism and Jewish-Christian issues. Among his many publications is Jews and Christians in Conversation. Good works to be had, right? Now, let's take one more turn to the left, as they say. The essential Kabbalah, the heart of Jewish mysticism. The Kabbalah is another form. It's called the Torah. I didn't find that in this store, but this is going to break it down. Now, they're going to tell us the foundations of it, but as you can see, it's split off into Islam and Christianity, and then it's split off even more into Jewish mysticism. This is a basis of, Hermetic principles. That's a basis of Wiccan teachings. And that's where you'll get into also sacred geometry, the elementals, which also converts over to Hindu and Buddhism, Taoism, all of it. Are you ready for this one religion? Are you ready to open up and bring everybody together as one? Are you ready to understand that they were taught, and what they were taught was not evil? I may not teach the Bible directly, but I teach Christ, and I teach the stories and all of that. A lot of what this is what we're going to start off with, and that's what I was trying to understand, is connect the dots. Where did the division come? Jesus. Jesus wasn't accepted. Do you know who killed Jesus? So in that, what happened? They stood to their, and we read about it. That's where all this started. How did this all come about? We read about it in the Bible just yesterday. We read about the children of Abraham. And what happened was Jesus gave a new way of life. He was the new prophet. They lived by the old ways. So all of this is still based on the Old Testament. And that's what I tell you. I know of the old God. And it's only by accepting Christ that you can find this new way of life. But the old God, Old Testament God, I was watching it. That movie's called Year One. Oh man, it was so funny when he pours the oil on that guy's, on the high priestess's fucking very fuzzy belly and tells him to rub it in, and his girlfriend's watching him. So funny. I mean, every part of that is funny. They walk up, the fucking cavemen walk up, and he's being told to do the first circumcision. He's like, but what constitutes the tip? For you, the whole thing. That's that joke I always tell Russ. And anyway, so we talked about it. We started the conversation, but we didn't have anything to really stand on. They stood on the old ways. You know what I mean? As I say this, I'm having all kinds of fucking, I don't know. I want to say activation. It's around my heart. It's a different kind of heart space activation. It's crazy because, you know what I mean, the Christians believe that all teachings outside of Christianity are evil, you know what I mean, are pagan, right? And that's what it is. Anything outside of Christianity is considered a pagan religion. But as we dive into all of these religions, we see that they all come back to the same teachings. Even as I pull out my cards from Odin and the 9 realms to which you can't even fathom in your head. You know what I mean? Back to the Egyptians, to the Greeks, to everything I show you. It's all the same teachings over and over in layers of time. Giving it to them all different ways. Why? See whatever would work. How will you accept this message? Christ was the ultimate sacrifice, but they didn't believe it. And that's just how it is now in Christianity. They don't believe that their sins are paid for. Why? Because the church itself tells them that they're not saved. So how can they believe in the Savior if the church literally tells them they're not saved? That they need to do such things to be saved, to see the kingdom of God, to inherit it. When Christ bled for it, for the past, the present, and the future. He already did that. He already paid the price. That's what that fucking means, people. That's that whole saying, you can't buy yourself into heaven. There's no sacrifice. There's nothing you can offer God that's going to make you worthy of heaven. But Jesus did that for you. He was the perfect lamb. He was the perfect sacrifice for all sin. Okay? They didn't believe that. They're like, no, you're still going to have to, you know what I mean? They would believe that you still had to practice your old ways. Please turn that down, baby boy. Please, please, please don't make this a fight. And that's what it is why didn't they accept this message? Because it gave everyone perfect freedom to do as they wish, almost as it was perceived. It took away the power and the structure of all things. And that's what he said. If you walk in the Spirit, you walk in the Spirit, not in the flesh. And that was against the laws. He said, you don't walk in the laws. The laws that they created, right? He offered you ultimate freedom, which is accepting this belief system. So all of these are belief systems. To believe to be good. And this is why you have to do it and the consequences. As we dive into all these religions, it's about who their God is, how to obtain their God, and the consequences, you know what I mean, of life. How life, you know what I mean, it's a pathway to what their direction to life. You know what I mean? So you have all of them teach you about a spiritual enlightenment, which is becoming a better version of yourself and walking in a heart space. No matter what we're going to dig in here, it's always going to be that. You know what I mean? It's all about some sense of enlightenment, self-control. You know what I mean? Serving God. This is what this is. The study of religion is a study to serve God. All the different religions served God. They believe their God to be the one God, and this is how you must serve their God in order to access their God, and these are the ways of which this God teaches you. What I do is take all of those and show you, my God, who art in heaven, hallowed be his name, is in all of these fucking people in all of this time and space, and he's been trying to teach you all the same damn message. Without the division of thinking that you have it right or they have it right. All the denominations of church, you all want a piece of God, but which one's the right piece? How is anyone to say who's got the right piece? Meaning, if you so shall choose to be a Christian, and whichever Christian you try to be, whether it be a Pentecostal, a Lutheran, a Baptist, a Mormon, they're all Christians. You're not choosing wrong. You're choosing God. You're choosing which organization you want to follow to God. Each one is going to tell you what their rules are. You know what I mean? The rules and requirements to access their God in their divine kingdom. No matter what the rules are, they're made to push you to be a better person. To stop being, you know what I mean? They put rules on your behaviors to be better persons. Now, as they tell you that anybody that doesn't follow these rules are casted into the damnation of all hell. What that means is they have no fucking peace, bro. The only thing all this brings you is peace. Peace. What are you expecting out of heaven? Peace. What the fuck is up there? Where's this place that you're so thriving for? A place of peacefulness, where you not want, or where you want not, when you have everything that your heart's desire. So again, hopefully you don't have this material vision that you live in a Barbie house in heaven, and it's just you and your fabulous fluffy dog and furs and cars and all of this. That's too much in your flesh, bro. That's not real. All of this is a way to peace, a way to their form of God. I show you their God. It's our God. Our God is an awesome God. It's all God. Their messengers, whoever they might be, where they took this message from, was called a prophet, a sage, a guru, a messenger of God, all these things, right? Now, they believe the messenger to have all of the power, and they stand behind the messenger and the power. So that's what Jesus is. Jesus was the messenger, and all the power he carried was the message. So that in alone, as having this powerful message, made him all-powerful. But he gave you the message. The power was in the message, again, if you so shall receive it. They didn't choose to receive it. They didn't believe it to be true. No, you still had to continue to perform such rituals. You still had to obey by such laws. Jesus didn't change that, is what they said. You still had to follow the rituals and laws that were placed down by the ancestors from before him. That's it. So, when I went back and I tried to ask Jesus yesterday, were you fucking circumcised? I was confused. Of course he was, because that was the old way. He changed it, but not as a child. He had to follow the ways as a child just like us. And he had to walk against the church just like we do. It was the church that hung Jesus, bro. Because he went to save people from the church's laws. Who do you think is out to get me? They call me, Draco calls me a coven buster. But I do much more than that. Because once I change your belief system, convert you into compassion, understanding, and forgiveness for whatever was told to us before this moment, and I give you new information and I lead you down this dark hole of discovery, and you realize and you see it for yourself, that there was no reason to hate these people, and you can understand why they hate us, it changes the whole game. if you can receive these messages, bro. But again, these aren't my messages. Let's talk about the Kabbalah. One of the foremost authorities of Jewish mysticism presents the primary text of the Kabbalah, a sparking new anthology of the Kabbalah. Both Jews and non-Jews will enjoy this book. It doesn't say shit about Christians. Daniel Matt's The Essential Kabbalah justifies its title. Text and contemporary alike are accurate, precise, useful, and truly successful. Oh, these are just quotes. But there's a lot of shit that this person highlighted in here. Let me see. Essential Kabbalah. The heart of Jewish mysticism. On her tongue, a Torah of love. Proverbs 31:26. Okay. Again, they lived in the Old Testament. So this starts with the purpose, the nature of God. I don't know how to pronounce this. God is infinity. Non-duality, God's encampment, the chain of being. Here it is again. Ein or En. Ein, Sof, Ein Sof, I don't know. And you. And that must be their God, because it says Ein Sof, and then it says God is infinity. Divine life, evolution in Kabbalah, heretical faith. And then it goes on to the Sephiroths. Those are from the tree of life. So you have water, light, and colors. All kinds of stuff. I need to learn how to pronounce these words. The aroma of infinity. Oblivion. The name of nothingness. Being and nothingness. The wisdom of nothingness. I tell you all about it. These are amazing. The letters of the alphabet. That's what we really need to know to understand. It was the Hebrew alphabet. Mind, meditation, mystical experiences. Danger of contemplation. Revelation and Torah, living in the material world. There's all kinds of great stuff in here. We have a lot. And then we have the Quran. What is the Quran? I don't know. Let's find out. We shall show them our signs in the universe and within themselves, until it becomes clear to them what the truth is. Ooh, I like it. The Quran, a book which brings glad tidings to mankind along with divine admonitions, I guess, stresses the importance of man's discovery of truth on both spiritual and intellectual planes. Every book has its objective. The objective of the Quran is to make man aware of the creation plan of God. That is, to tell man why God created this world. What's the purpose of this purpose is of settling man on earth, what is required of man in his pre-death lifespan, and what he is going to confront after death. The purpose of the Quran is to make man aware of his reality, thus serving to guide man on his entire journey through his life and into the afterlife. The main themes of the Quran are enlightenment, closeness to God, peace, and spirituality. The Quran uses several terms, which I cannot pronounce. Come on! Who speaks this shit? No offense, sorry. I know it's your tongue, but my tongue gets twisted just looking at it. What is this? Taiwasam? And then we got Tabad. See, you know what I mean? Come on. It's the hardest part of my job, which indicates the learning of lessons through reflection, thinking, and contemplation of the signs of God scattered across the world. Synchronicities. That's what I tell you how he's talking. The present translation of the Quran has been done keeping in mind these various themes. Well, obviously this is a very little weeny version of it in comparison to how big the book really is. That's like those mini Bibles. I don't know. But it has it all in here. And it doesn't seem to be so difficult to read like ours. So yeah, we got some real big shit. And then you go back to the Bhagavad Gita, right? What's the Bhagavad Gita? Another story of man's about enlightenment. The Bhagavad Gita doesn't really tell you. It's about a conversation, just like the fucking Bible, where they're talking about, he's sending out stories and just eavesdropping is what it is. It's memos and shit like that. Scrolls is what they call it. So outside of the Bhagavad Gita was the other teachings of from the I call it the Krishna. It's called the Krishna something. Krishna something something, and they have all of those teachings, and I have most of those books broken down, which are about the science of self-realization. That goes back to Vedic astrology. Vedic astrology used the planetary energies to know what your life's purpose was, what God wanted you to do while you were here. That's what I do around here. I take all of these, you know what I mean, these books, you know, that God wrote to us, all the scrolls, all the hidden scrolls that, you know what I mean, he left us so many. He said it over and over, but each time he said it, you know what I mean, it got, you know what I mean, the message got stronger. And as much as I don't want to read this Mormon book, the Mormons, you know what I mean, who are we to say that God didn't come to one of their men and he spread a good message of how to live right by God? Because that's what all these stories are about. And just like Jesus, they didn't accept it. Just like all of them, we don't accept their prophets. We don't accept their messenger. But no matter what, the message is good. You know what I mean? The Mormons live by a code of conduct, which is about, you know what I mean, serving Christ, being a good person. Enlightenment is what it always comes down to. Spiritual development, having a sense of better demeanor, right? Rules and regulations, whatever the case may be. And I have that book down there as well. And it's like, that's what it is. It's like, you know, these people spread a good message to where, yeah, the message was a little diluted, and that's where you get these occults. Scientology, whatever that weird ship is that's sailing around right now, and they've exposed it. It's not stopping people from being part of it, because in it they find some sense of God. What is God? Peace. They find community. They find protection. They find love. They find family. That's what religion brings you to. It brings you to God, and in God you find a family in God. And we're all searching for that family. And that's the conversion of all of these wonderful religions. Without your religion, you have no family. If you ever lived in a small town or been part of a real big culture, you know that's the truth. Without your religion, you don't have any family. And that's it. It's like, I'm honored to go in any church, because that's my family in God. They're praising God right here. I'm just learning how you praise God. But praise God. We're going to praise God in this house, because this is his house. Can I come in this house with you? And that's the problem. God's house is supposed to be open to all of them. And that's what Jesus talked about. And that's where it is he made it, you know, the religions make it exclusive. I'm not allowed to teach it, you know what I mean? I'm looking at Allie like, are you gonna step in? Or are you literally gonna make me hold the balls on this one? Meaning you guys are, you know that I have no position to do this, but I have to take the position to do it. No woman can do this. You're not allowed to do that. God said. Why does God want me to do it? Because he said that he wants you with us, not apart from us, but with us. And in order to get to bring you with us, I've got to understand you. And this is how I understand you. So, I'm way out of my field, but I'm not. I'm just going into new fields. And I try to teach you guys that with, you know, your areas of life. You know what I mean? Like, you have a gift, and you can take that many different places than where you're putting it. You can put that in lots of different areas of your life. You know what I mean? My thing is, my biggest gift is learning and teaching others what I've learned. I'm a master at that. I'm a great learner, and I'm a great teacher. So I channel that into what? Learning about God and teaching about God. And I don't limit myself to one way of God. I learn, you know what I mean, as much as I can. Now, that's just where I put it. I can learn and be taught anything. And that's where, you know, the vibrancy comes from. I'm easily taught. I'm eager to learn new things. I really wanted to be taught, so then I can show somebody what I learned. It's in me. It's like, it's exactly what I'm created of. So with that being all said, it's like, you know, I'm doing what I love. But what I love is a service to God. Because what I'm doing is something that nobody's ever done before. And yes, many people do it. They do it in their own rooms. This bookstore has all of the knowledge of every god that ever existed. And what was beautiful is I could walk up to this couple and ask them and not feel intimidated that they knew too much or I didn't know anything. I didn't have to feel dumbed down, and they knew, you know what I mean? They could search for the right words to help me try to put it together. And that's it too, is when you do have so much knowledge and wisdom, you don't want to, you know what I mean, come off, you know what I mean, as arrogant, I suppose is the word. But that's it. It's like, you know, you can't get too much of God, because just when you think you know what God is, find out what they're you know what I mean, what they're talking about, what their God's capable of. And that's it. If you believe in their God and what he's capable of, then you can see their God working in your life. Which, if you want to believe it's that form, meaning Krishna's all up in my energy right now, or do I say God is in my energy and he sent Buddha to my room Sunday morning? Is Buddha, do I have a closer relationship with Buddha than Jesus? No, on the contrary. But in either one of them, and sitting in the energy of any of them, you know what I mean, going back to Melchizedek and all of this great stuff, with sitting with them, I'm sitting with God. I'm not cheating on God by understanding more of God. Do you understand that? God is not just for one person, one group, one way. And that's why he kept coming back to get everyone. And any way he could, find a way to speak to them and bring them, you know what I mean, to their virtuous best self. So it's going to be fun, as you can see. I mean, I'm excited to learn about, you know, hidden knowledge, religions that don't, you know, people that live on this earth that I don't know, but that still believe in God. And that's it. Like, through God, we can find connection. If we take the time to understand what the Mormons, how they believe, then we can have a connection with them. Because first off, they believe in God, and they love God, and they're being good to God, and because of their God, they're good to other people. There's very little of this you'll find where they're out to get people. Alright? And we're going to go into that and show that. They might be defending their countries or their, you know what I mean, their ancestors or their religious beliefs, and we'll talk about that too, because, you know, they're fighting for what they've seen destroyed in many other times. They're fighting for the end of life. But in the essence is, you don't see that. People are afraid of witchcraft, but I've shown you that that's not what we do. Are there a bunch of them that can? Yeah. And that's what, you know, Star Wars is supposed to teach you. The force is within you. How you balance it is something different. We all lean towards that, you know what I mean? We're all driven by the dark force, and we have to overcome the dark forces within us, you know what I mean, to hold up the light. And that's, you know, all of these movies, all of it is about that. But, you know, they try to condemn you for the dark spaces that are created inside of you to harness this big, bright, white light that you are. The duality of what it is and shit, you know what I mean? Meaning, as much as these religions persecute us for being outside of their religion, they persecute their own people too. You can't be a good Christian. There's no, you know what I mean? You're never good enough to the religion or to God in those eyes. You know what I mean? They persecute you if you step out of line. Even being part of it, you know, if even going into, you know, Scientology, you're not allowed to have anything outside of it. It's the same thing, bro. Any of these religions, you're not allowed to fuck with people outside of our religion. You're not allowed to go outside of this box, bro. And if you do, you're gonna lose all of us. You're sacrificing your relationship to God, your family, your friends, your church, your everything. If you step out of this. Now you go back to, you know, Sheldon, something simplistic. You know, they were part of a Baptist church in Texas. and his teenage brother, not using protection, you know what I mean, got a girl pregnant, and now they're all kicked out of the church, which means in essence they're kicked out of God's kingdom and they're going to perish because they had, you know what I mean, premarital sex. The church teaches you to turn your back on them. That's not what it says. Christ doesn't tell you to turn your back on sinners, bro. He said don't fellowship in it, don't become one of them. But in essence, that's what missionaries of the Church of Latter-day Saints does. They're out there, those Mormons, I've seen them in other countries, bro. They're out there spreading that good word, bro. They're out there with the sinners. And they're trying to bring them into their church, whereas you guys aren't. If we come into your church, we're not welcome. No, you can't turn on your camera. You can't be here. You can't this. You can't that. I don't want my people on the. I don't want. We have our own. We have our own channel. We won't be affiliated with you. I'm just here to spread your church's word, bro. What's the deal? And that's it. Everyone's an enemy outside of the church. You're an enemy of the church if you're not church affiliated and you don't walk by the ways of the church. Whose church? Pick one. Break one of their rules and watch what happens. Jesus made sure that you wouldn't have to feel that kind of persecution, bro, for your mistakes. Forgive them, for they knew not what they did. It was all about forgiveness, bro. But none of these religions, as much as we said, it sounds beautiful on the outside, right? The Islam sound great, right? Until you realize what's going on over there, and they're literally killing people. You know what I mean? Until you realize what's going on with, you know what I mean? The Russians are out fucking killing the Jews again, and you realize all of this is going on, and you're like, oh shit. And here comes Columbus Day again. Oh shit. Make America great again. Oh shit. When you can't live up to the standards of your parents, your church, your government, your job, and all that bullshit, when you're tired of trying to fucking be what they tell you to fucking be, and you're gonna try to find yourself somewhere, that's where you'll find me, bro. And that's, you're not gonna be alone when you get to that place. This motherfucking shit is gonna fucking break, bro. It's made to break. If the system breaks you, don't feel bad, bro. It's gonna break everyone. And the system, the structure of themselves are already breaking. Prices, everything's gonna go up. Businesses are gonna close. They can't afford food costs. They can't afford fucking fuel. They won't be able to afford the import-export fees. Hotels? No. Nobody's traveling. They can't afford basics, bro. How are they going to afford the extras? People are going to lose... Huh?
Is it not Trump?
No, not everything. Hey, give me one of those fucking... I want a cupcake over there. You know what I mean? It's like this whole structure is going to fall. It's falling all over. London Bridge is falling down, meaning you can't stand up to it. It's like it's the Atlanteans. We built this system... This never-ending system that, if it in essence, never-ending, it's going to crush us because it's never-ending. It's going to overpower itself. You can't hold it up, which is what? The lies. My mom said this was true. That's a fucking lie. The church says this is true. That's a fucking lie. The government says this is how we're supposed to be. That's a fucking lie. My job says this is okay. That's not okay. When your fucking moral compass turns on and it starts heading north, it's because everything else has gone south. All these people and all these religions and everything I teach, my God accepts you the way that you are. He asks you to follow some basic ass rules and just walk away from a lot of things. And that's for your own good. And that's it. And he's trying to inspire you to do some shit like that. But you are welcome to receive all of his promises that he promised to you. And that's where I'm here to catch him. It's like, I know they said you know what I mean? Your church says you weren't good enough. Their church says it. That government says it. Your skin says it. Your sexuality. They say this, that they won't discriminate because of XYZ, but somehow you're fucking X'd out of the fucking whole situation. They do discriminate by your fucking color. They do discriminate by your appearance. They do discriminate by your fucking sexual orientations, by your fucking culture or religious beliefs. That's bullshit. That's that interview process. Because why couldn't you do the job? They want to sort through and see who's the best candidate by bias. What are they using to, you know what I mean, to make this executive decision? Your fucking experience? It's entry level. It says no experience needed. Bullshit. Bullshit. They're deciding who to give an opportunity to instead of everyone, you know what I mean? Everyone gets the opportunity. And they're discriminating who they hire for such reasons. Walmart's not going to put a slow person anywhere but in front of the door. They only have one position for a slow person. Maybe two. They have to keep a position open for that person. Can I tell you a secret that you might not know? On every application nowadays, they start asking you some questions. They start asking you if you or any of your family have received any kind of federal, financial, or any kind of federal aid in the last 3 years. If you say yes, they start asking you real deep, did you receive food stamps in the last 18 months? Have you received disability? Is anyone in your family a veteran? Why do they ask these questions? Because the federal government gives them a credit for hiring people like us. Tell me they're not discriminating and putting people in boxes. Go have fun. Go do an application to a basic organization that's near you. Get all the way to the final questions. It's the final questions they ask you. Finally, demographic questions is what they call it. But they do. So they know how many low-income families they have, you know what I mean? How many positions they have filled by low-income families because they're purposely trying to fill them because they get a credit, a tax break or something. Something goes on there. I invited my friend to meet me. She wanted to meet me and I was brave. And I didn't go out of my way to go hide and meet you somewhere else. Fine, I'll tell you where I live. Here's my address. So what is this? I said it's a family shelter. These are all families. But as you can see, it's all of the Venezuelans. She said I could see. Right? And I was like, there's the segregated, there's the black people, they stay over there in the smoking section. And then, as you would call them, the white trash, there's only a few of the families, and they come and go, and they smoke right at the front. And no, this is what it is. These are all families that have no homes. She's like, wow, right? I'm trying to explain to her, you know, what it is, and the segregation, and how it is, and, you know what I mean? This, that, and the other. But what you don't know is they're disappearing. The deportation is happening, and you can see it. I went to a clothing bank, and I couldn't believe I got through it. And he said, I was like, wow, is it like Christmas? He said, no, it's been like this ever since he started, you know what I mean, since Trump started signing things, meaning they're disappearing. The people they serviced are disappearing. Just like I told you they would. Where is he putting them? These people, their government failed them, their country failed them. Our president tried to offer them opportunity by bringing them here, but with no opportunity for employment. So he made them a dependent off of our fucking, you know what I mean, our government's welfare structure. Why wouldn't he give them an opportunity to work visas, temporary work visas? He did this. He created this problem that we have to get him off of our system. How much can they claim? I know. Because if they were, why, you know what I mean? What do they do here? Most of them, bro, they have side hustles. There's some of the girls I know for sure are fucking sex workers. I know for sure, dude. And most of them, like, I mean, there's this woman, she's like, fuck, bro. She's like fucking 80 years old. And she has a spectrum, like, I think it's a grandchild that she has to care for that's in his teens. And she can get him no further than the next couple blocks over and puts him at a light. And they sit out there 7 days a week at the light with a sign. How long will she be able to do this for that child, and what will happen to him afterwards? He's super spectrum, bro. She's got to hold his hand and everything. She sits him down on the fucking pavement and holds a sign. She's like 80, 90 years old, bro. I don't know where his parents are, but it's not hers. Not the age gap. She wasn't out there fucking. She'll die one day. Who's gonna take care of him? She lost him once. I was so scared for her. We were standing waiting at the elevator. She was looking at her phone. And she looked up and she's like, oh gosh, ¿dónde está el niño? ¿Dónde está el niño? And she's like, oh, no, ¿dónde está el niño? And she started to cry. She ran out the front door. And I'm still waiting for the elevator. I know who she's looking for. And she's like, I don't know where he went. I was like, maybe he's upstairs. Maybe he's upstairs. So she takes the elevator up. I get off on my floor and he's wandering around my floor. And I grab him and I take him down to his floor and to her. And it's a great thing. But it's like, that's how helpless he is. In the split moment, you know what I mean? She could have lost him. He knew how to get up the elevator, but he got off the wrong floor and he was wandering. He didn't know which one was his door and how to get home. She's like 80, 90 years old, bro. How long can she take care of him? What will happen to him? That's why you gotta be like, God, please take care of them, God. Please take care of him. Fucking sad, right? In the essence, so again, Biden was trying to help, but he made a very big problem on our fucking, and that's why you got him on the streets. They didn't know they couldn't get a job. He just poured them on the streets with a small amount of money, maybe, or I don't know what he gave them, but no. So then here comes Trump, and he's like, dude, this is costing billions of dollars. We've got to get rid of these people. Instead of giving them work visas and helping them build this, you know what I mean, all this new shit he wants to build, he's sending out helping hands. But where the fuck is he sending them? It's not our problem, right? They're just people, bro. How can these people not be our problem when they're just, you know, what people are our problem? Who are the people that we make our problem? Who are worthy? None of them are out here jacking cars or you know what I mean, selling. They're not out there doing drugs. They're not tweaking. They're not tearing apart fucking shit. They're not breaking into anything. They're not stealing. They're not nothing, bro. They're joyful, hopeful, hustling people, dude. They have no choice but to ask for help. But they're willing to. They're willing to work for it. If you give them a chance, they'll work hard for that money, bro. But their time is limited. They're being hunted. Our government is hunting them to get them out of here. They hurt our system, but they didn't need to. They just came to live a dream that was turned out to be a fucking nightmare we're all living. One day they'll be gone. It was the closest thing I ever got to my culture, was watching them suffer. Right along next to me, and I couldn't help them. I'm such an evolved version, right? My fucking ancestors got out. We got out. We got across the border. We got civilized. We got good jobs. We got educations. Can't do anything for you. They could be my literal family and I wouldn't even know it. Literally, bro. They literally could be my cousins and I wouldn't even know it. But as much as, you know what I mean, our president is doing that to them, he's taking away our American citizen jobs. These people that, you know, they're not going to know how to live. He's taking away all these government workers. They don't know how to do anything else. I mean, he's trying to, he's got an agenda, but the agenda is destruction of many people's lives. And I care about them. Somebody has to. I can't give you your life back. I can only inspire you to make it through this, to have the right mindset to get through this, to find God in this. Whatever God you prayed to before this happened, He hasn't failed you. I don't know if they told you some shit about the devil, but I promise this is all a good thing. It'll be okay in the end. And as much as we're suffering, our ancestors suffered too. Our parents suffered, their parents, you know what I mean? The depression, the fucking all kinds of stuff, dude. It's just our time to, you know, go through it. But that's what this is all about, is finding them all, you know what I mean? Everybody, when all the system breaks, how do we bring them back to hope? Not just, you know what I mean? Not just one, but all. All for one and one for all. Because all of us took a big-ass fall. A fall from grace. But we can build a better world together. You know what I mean? And that's that one religion. Don't give up your religion. Just bring it, you know what I mean? Just accept us too. We're not asking you to give up. We're asking you to accept. This isn't about giving up your beliefs. It's about accepting more. Giving up the lies and accepting the truth. You know what I mean? I don't want you to stop praying to Buddha. I just want you to, you know what I mean? Let Christ sit in on that conversation too. I don't want you to give up your beliefs and your ancestral ways that you guys fought all of these, you know what I mean? You fought to keep alive. I want you to keep it alive too, but I want Jesus to live there with you, because Jesus can protect you too. And I want you to understand the wicked ways. I want you to understand all of what God really has to offer. You know what I mean? I don't want you to have just your God. I want you to have all God and Goddess. It was a good teaching. I get really into this shit. That was a Queen of Cups. Don't fuck with me. I'll pull out my sword anytime. But that's what we're doing, is we're trying to find God's people, and He says they're all His people, bro. And as we look into their studies and what their teachings are, they are His people. They're trying to perfect His teachings according to what they were taught. They were just taught differently because they were on a different side of the, you know what I mean, of the tracks. There's a Calvary Church. There's 2 of them in Hugo, Oklahoma. There's one for the white people, and there's one on the other side of the tracks for the black people. Same message. Just the messenger resonates better with, you know what I mean? They don't want a white man telling them how to live. They'd rather feel better with a black man. And that's it. God came to him, you know. He comes to all nations, speaking all tongues. Good tidings is what they call it. So as we say this, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to convert anyone. I'm trying to bring everyone. It's about equality. We're going to get into some heated discussions about this when you don't want to give in to this. You don't want to give in to the openness. It's all this is. Don't be so closed-minded. Don't be so shut off to accepting a whole fucking culture of people that praises God differently from you. Don't be so shut off to them. Because if we can open up to them, they can open up to us. Somebody has to extend the olive branch. Somebody has to be the bigger person. Somebody has to do the hard work to show what work is to be done. But once it's done, it's done. You know what I mean? There's nothing unsafe about Muslim people. Like 9/11. Who told them to do that? Did all of them believe in what happened? They all thought that was a great idea? or they had no idea what was happening, and they have to stand behind their religion, because if not, they don't have anyone. And that goes back to the fucking Nazis. Did all of them love killing Jewish people? No. But if they didn't, they'd get killed themselves and their family and everybody else. They had to keep their you know what I mean? They had to keep their loyalties to their governments and to their religions, to their beliefs, to their families. They had to do what was right. Being a rebellion is not easy, and you can lose your life easily rebelling against it. You know what I mean? Going against the grain, going against God, going against your parents, going against the elders, going against politics, going against your job, going against your, it's something that people find, inspiring, of course. Great power comes great responsibility. I'm starting fights. I'm fighting. I'm here to fight. That's what it means to be rebellion, to be a rebel. What am I fighting? I'm fighting for the unity of all nations together in God. What am I doing over here? Doing God's work, bro. It's a lot of little bit of pieces, but it's ultimately go get my people, bring them back. How? With my words. I can't do anything else but give you the message and bring you back to Him. How? In your thoughts and in your heart. Compassion. How can you have compassion for something you don't understand? You don't understand why the Muslims hate the Christians. You don't understand why the Russians went to kill the Jews. You don't understand what's going on in the Palestine, and you don't understand what's happening here in our current country. Don't be closed-minded. Open your eyes. Try to understand. And don't think you have it figured out, because as soon as you think you understand, here comes another perspective. You can only see it one way, and we need to open our eyes and see what's really happening. See it through the eyes of other people that really know, that can really speak on some shit. Do you guys know any Muslim people? Me neither. I think Kevin Gates is Islamic. My son said something about that. I know they don't eat fucking pork. What else do we know? We're ignorant, bro. We're ignorant. You know what I mean? As far as Jewish people being the chosen people, and then they have Jewish mysticism, which is all magic. It's like the home foundation of magic. All magic comes from there. It's like, how do you reject all this shit? But at the same time, how do they reject Jesus? And it's not, they don't. That's what you gotta see, is even in my other books, the Palladians, bro. She's getting transmissions from fucking aliens, and the aliens are telling her about being Christ-like, bro. You're like, it's just a book. So is the Bible, bro. It has no power unless you believe in that shit, bro. People that don't believe in a form of God. Joe, you're not gonna like this. Talking about Joe Bartolozzi. I didn't challenge him. I just wanted I wanted to bring God to him and let him see if he liked any of it. I got all kinds of God over here. I got all kinds of God, and I can show you he's real. What kind do you like? However you like it. But in the essence, people that don't have God don't have peace. That's all they're lacking. It's peace. Meaning they don't have any certainty for existence. They have no reasoning behind anything. If there's no God, then there's no reason for why the way things are. They try to put their own reasoning together, but even then, they have no meaning. Life is dull. They see no purpose in what they do. It's just, as they say, mundane. And that's what he sees. He's like, I'm just doing what, you can find a happy time and everything, but it's all very temporary. That's it. Your identity. You find your identity in Christ. I've had a heated night. That was a lot of information, and I had to cry. I want a cupcake, and I'm going to bed. Tomorrow's Tuesday. God who gives us strength. Let's tackle some shit. A strength day is usually about some action, taking action. We don't do that on a Monday. So usually, Tuesday we're pretty movement orientated. Be careful not to take too much action, not to get get too ahead of yourself where you make yourself a huge laundry list. Speaking of which, I literally have to do laundry. That's on my list of things to do, right along with wash the car and shit like that. God will give me strength where I'll feel like doing some stupid shit like that. Only God can give you strength to do stupid shit like that. In essence, so we'll fight some stuff like that. The earlier videos were still facing submission. You know, I talked to my friend, and you know, what did I was able to preach to her what I learned this weekend, which is what? The second you give up on trying to make the past your future, the future will present itself. And what did I say? I was like, I kept trying to make these men be this man. I keep trying to make these men be this man, which is for her one man. She wants this man to be her, you know, her future. But he's not the man that she wants in her future. She just wants to hold on to this man. And that's what I told her. I was like, I can't make any of you guys like him. But the second I realized that you're not what I want and to let you go, there he is. The man I did want is right there. And that's the story to be told. And that's going to be a very difficult lesson for you guys. It took me a lot to learn that. That's what I told her. I was like, it took me 3 years. I've been holding on for a long time. I didn't want to give up. I just kept thinking the more I gave them, the more they would seek enlightenment. The more enlightened I made them, the more they would make this their lifestyle. I seek people that seek enlightenment. She wants to be my friend because she seeks enlightenment. She's looking she wants to know how to be a better version of herself. She wants to tell me about her life and how can I be better. As, you know what I mean? I lit her ass up. Real hard. I was like, I'm gonna hurt your feelings right now, real bad. And I raised my voice and everything. And she took it, and she understood it. After it was all said and done, what was it? I was like, you can't be a bad bitch and somebody's wifey. You can't do both. And I just learned that. I was like, you can't. You can't wear the pants in the relationship and be the princess. You can't be both. She's like, damn, you're right. I know, but it took me a lifetime to realize that. I was like, you are nothing but a reflection of me, dude. And this is going to be the hardest lessons for you to learn because, I mean, seriously. I was like, everything about you is me in a different time. And I'm preaching to you in hopes that you'll get it, but at the same time, I mean, fuck. You know what I mean? Fuck. This is hard. I just got this. I can't rule and be taken care of at the same time. And then I hit her with something that's exactly myself. It's like, I have to dumb myself down. That's what I told her. I was like, I have to humble myself to be approachable. I was like, you know, I used to be like you. I used to have all of that going on. You know what I mean? I have to have all that makeup. And, you know, if I do it now, the very second I put on makeup, I get the shit looks. You put on my outfit plus makeup, and Lord forbid, you know what I mean? I look good. I look unapproachable, and I get ugly looks. When I come out looking very humble, bro, and it takes a lot of strength in me to do this, to not come out with no makeup, no eyebrows, not looking good, real dumbed down. I've noticed something, bro. People talk to me, and they talk kind to me. They're not afraid to talk to me. But when I dress up and I look all good and I'm looking better than everybody else in the room, don't nobody want shit to do with me. Yeah, I draw attention, but it's fucking negative as fuck. So negative. It's jealousy, it's envy, it's lust, it's attraction. It's not love, it's attraction. It's not a good feeling. But when I sit here and I just sit on the stoop, and that's why I said, you know, when I go out like this, and I'm just totally dumbed down, just white tee and some, you know what I mean, some pants. They're not afraid to come talk to me. They don't see me in my worth. They don't see me in my power. They just see me as a normal person. And that works for me. And it sucks, you know what I mean, that I gotta dumb myself down. But it's so worth it. I've got to bring myself to a place that is approachable. You know what I mean? When I put it all on, and that's what I was going to tell her. You know what I mean? I got some really... I didn't tell her. But it's like when I get all dressed up like that, yeah, it makes me feel good. But it doesn't do anything else for me but make me feel good. It brings the wrong type of attention. But when I just go out, just, you know what I mean, being me, comfortable me, just me, people aren't afraid to say something to me. And that's what makes it even more, like, I'm so astonished. Like, you're talking to me? Like, you see me? And especially when they say something like, you're beautiful. You have no idea how beautiful I really can be. But thank you for seeing it without all the beauty that I thought I had to put on. And that's it too. It's like I was her. I could not go out without a full face and a full, you know what I mean? A full fit. I couldn't. I could never be that bitch that was out there in some fucking pajama pants, bro. With no fucking bra and shit. All looking torbacula and shit. I was all against that life. I couldn't do it. I couldn't put myself out there to feel judged like that. But in essence, I was doing the worst. I was putting myself out there, trying to look, you know what I mean? In essence, looking, you know what I mean? Doing too much. So I brought the worst energy. I don't know. And that's really what you learn, is like you can't play hard and be soft at the same time. She's like, why not? Because nobody's going to know what's really you. I'm like, I'm hard. I can be hard, but I don't always want to be hard. And if I keep being hard, that's all they're going to get. The more I'm soft, the more they'll soften up to me. And that's it. It's like you don't... I was just trying to explain it. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's a lesson I'm having to learn. It's like, how am I going to have a man take care of me when I'm trying to be the man in the house? It sounds so simplistic, but it's not in the programming of who we are. This is very difficult. And, you know, and that's what it is like we have compassion for our men as we're struggling through this, because I have a whole mentality about this. Mentality. Write that down, Holy Spirit. That was good shit. It's like we're trying to break this mentality and be, you know what I mean, more in our feelings about shit instead of being so, you know what I mean, aggressive and shit. And that's it too. It's like, even going back to Wolfman, it's like, you're going to have to cut that, bro. You can't be so straightforward with something like this. You're dealing with a child, in essence. And that's how you have to deal with everyone. You can't be so cutthroat with them. Be kind. Be forgiving. Yeah, they're ignorant. They're all kinds of things. Be soft to them. Don't make them feel dumb. Don't put them down. Something like that. She said something about fat bitches. I'm like, well, yeah, if you say something like that, they're going to feel insecure. Like you're calling somebody a fat bitch, and you knew it when you said it. You know what I mean? So don't be saying shit like that. It's like, that's where it comes in. This is an opportunity to change us. It's not like we, you know, why do I have to change the way I talk? Because you realize that people are getting hurt by it. And you can change the way that people feel. It's something simplistic. It's like, you know, especially as a Sagittarius that always speaks their mouth, it's like, I didn't mean to hurt nobody. But now that I'm aware, I need to stop doing this. I have an ability to try to work on this, to where I'm not hurting people's feelings every time I open my fucking mouth. In the essence, I call them fat bitches too. And that's what she's like, I'm a fat bitch, but you're not. But maybe you was, but I don't think you really was. I got pictures to prove I was. So when I call a fat bitch, I'm considered, you know, and that's what the funny thing is like, I have a body dysphoria. Do you know I stared at my own picture in that white dress so hard that I forgot I couldn't even see my body? I'm like trying to see it, and it's such a weird thing. It was weird for me. I have such a body dysphoria. In the sense of, I don't see it. I don't know. I just don't see what you see. I don't see your body the way you see it. Alright, did we give enough Christ to everybody? Are we ready to jump into that? No, we'll take it nice and slow. I get all kinds of stuff and it'll sit there collecting dust for a while. Truthfully, yeah, watch it. I mean, we don't usually dive all the way in. It takes a little while to marinate. It sits in the altar and it brews and, you know, and finally it comes to surface. What is that all about? Oh, it's not hoarding. It's preparations. And that's what I always tell you. By the time I pull out the book or the card, it's only confirmation to what I've already learned or we've already dived into. I don't know if I know anything about any of this. I feel like I could feel comfortable opening the Kabbalah from what we've already taught. But somehow through our teachings, we'll be able to. Again, I have to be a testimony. So somehow I will learn the ways of this before I get to it. And that was what happened with the Buddha book, the teachings of Buddha. I'd already been homeless for like, I don't know, 3 months, 3 months. And then I get this book, and it's the brotherhood, the homeless brotherhood. He's teaching me the initiation into becoming a Buddhist, and how this is literally the initiation is homelessness. And I'm sitting there, Kobe, we made it into the house of Buddha. I went homeless for this shit. We're doing it. And the essence is some life accord gets me in there, bro. And then you're like, look, and that's what I said in my earlier cards about being a pagan priestess. I had done all the rituals before I even knew what it took. They walked me through it before I opened the book. I'm taught by experience, and then I can teach you through my experience. That's what makes me such a great teacher, is I have all this testimony, this life testimony that's all chaotic and makes these messages go on forever. Speaking of which, it's past bedtime. What time is it? It's bedtime. Yeah, 1:11:27. Time to go. Hey, I love you guys. We'll dive into some more shit tomorrow. Have a good night. It'll probably be good morning. It's too late for this. Have a good morning. Enjoy this with your coffee. Laters, haters. Laters, haters.